Yojimbo is a fracture line in Spira's mythology. Every Aeon is supposed to reflect devotion, sacrifice, and the bond between summoner and Fayth, but he rejects all of it. Silent, watchful, always evaluating, he stands apart from Yevon's script. He doesn't act out of loyalty. He doesn't answer to emotion. He asks a single question before lifting his blade. What is it worth to you? In a world built on ritual, Yojimbo is the reminder that Fayth does not bind every soul. Some remain governed by the truths they carried in life. Yojimbo waits in the cavern of the stolen Fayth, a place that was never meant to hold reverence or ritual. It feels less like a sanctuary and more like a quiet burial of forgotten intentions. The only movements there are drifting fireflies and the echoes of summoners who failed to return. Nothing in that cavern aligns with Yevon's order. And yet, a Fayth rests there, sealed, alert, forgotten by the world that once depended on him. His presence is a contradiction carved into stone, a spirit bound for purpose, then cut out of the pilgrimage entirely. Long ago, this statue belonged to a temple. Lulu's words are the only thread left intact.
They say it was stolen from a temple long ago.
The theft is the only confirmed truth. Why he was taken, by whom, and for what purpose has dissolved into rumour. What remains is a Fayth displaced, stripped of context, waiting in a place where devotion does not reach. Before becoming a Fayth, Yojimbo was a bodyguard. This single piece of information is enough to understand the shape his spirit takes. A bodyguard lives in calculation, measuring distance, assessing danger, and reading intent with a precision that leaves no room for fantasy. When such a man becomes a Fayth, his spirit does not soften, it sharpens. His stillness, unwavering gaze, and austere posture are not religious devotion, but the echoes of a life spent in vigilance. He radiates neutrality, the kind learned by someone whose role was to stand between danger and the one he protected, knowing he could be abandoned or replaced at any moment. The words mea culpa carved into his faith don't confess a specific sin we can name. They could belong to a man seeking a final act of redemption, or to a bodyguard who never stopped blaming himself for a life he couldn't protect. Either way, the inscription frames him in quiet responsibility, rather than simple devotion. This is why he feels unlike any Aeon tied to a summoner's emotional journey. Not because he resists or rebels, but because his life revolved around survival, not faith. His transformation into a Fayth did not rewrite who he was. It preserved it. Yojimbo's identity isn't only shaped by the lore within Spira. It is shaped by cultural echoes wove into him. His entire design references the Yojimbo archetype in Japanese culture, the wandering ronin for hire defined by discipline, caution, and ambiguous loyalty. A masterless samurai bound only to his own judgment. The clearest influence is Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, 1961, where a lone swordsman manipulates those around him with cold pragmatism, never revealing more than he must. His design also echoes Lone Wolf and Cub, where Ogami Ito walks the land as a hired blade, accompanied only by his son Daigoro. A story defined by silence, wandering, and the burden of a warrior's past. Its themes of duty, exile, and paid violence echo strongly in Yojimbo's own portrayal. These inspirations contextualize it. They explain why a bodyguard's faith would manifest with such reserved dignity, and why displacement suits him in a way it would not suit any other Aeon. Yojimbo is a spirit shaped by a human who walked through life neither saint nor martyr, but a man bound by professional instinct. Most Fayth found a temple to anchor them. Yojimbo became what he had been in life, a Ronin, bound to no master and to no place. Yojimbo's presence fractures the idea of a perfect pilgrimage. He reveals what Spira prefers to ignore: misplaced souls, stolen offerings, stories removed from where they belonged. Not every faith was honoured, and not every spirit bound into stone was given a place in the cycle. He is not rebellion, nor corruption. He is the quiet reminder that Spira's faith was shaped by choices, some preserved, others buried. A faith whose story slipped through the cracks of a purified narrative. Yojimbo remains where he was left, a spirit without a place to return to, surviving on the terms he carried into death. So, why does he accept Gil? Because Yojimbo never stopped being who he was in life. A faith is not a mind wiped clean. It is a soul suspended, personality, instinct, and worldview preserved inside stone. And the man who became Yojimbo's faith was a bodyguard, someone whose entire existence revolved around assessing danger and negotiating his place within it. His loyalty was a profession, not a devotion. His protection had terms, risks, and boundaries. His service was never free. When his spirit was bound to the statue, that instinct didn't dissolve. It crystallized. Gil, in this sense, is not mere currency to him. It is structure, a symbol of intent, commitment, and exchange, a way to measure the seriousness of those who approach him, a language he understood in life, and therefore the only one he trusts in death. In a world where summoners forge bonds through faith, Yojimbo recognizes something different. Faith can be broken, misused, corrupted. A tangible offering becomes the only proof of sincerity that cannot lie. He accepts Gil because it is the one thing that bypasses ritual, doctrine, and sentimentality. It is a promise with weight, a contract without illusion, a reminder that even in a world ruled by faith, some spirits still move according to the truths they lived, not the ones Spira prefers to believe.